Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our discussion on ways to promote from within. I'm Megan, the Business Operations Manager for Employers Advantage, and with me today are Employers Advantage HR business partners Candyce, Ellen, and Renita. Team, I believe we can all agree that promoting from within can be a win-win for both a company and an employee. The employee already knows a company's culture, as well as policies and practices. Promoting from within can also boost morale and lead to enhanced motivation amongst a team. So let's jump right in. Team, what are some ways companies can promote from within?
Well, I think the first thing you have to consider is, one, today's climate. It's really hard to find talent today. Talent is out there, but it's so many opportunities. And so you have to leverage what the organization already has within the company. What talent pool are you developing? Really think about, a lot of people look at succession planning as like big companies do that, but I think it doesn't matter what size you are. Succession planning is thinking about your replacement in key positions. And then who do I have in the organization that's ready to be developed for higher level positions? So I think it's a lot of planning that goes into it, but the planning is worth it because it's the investment of your future of the organization and with the employees that you want to retain.
Yeah. And I think too, to piggyback on what Renita was saying, your current existing employees, they know your business, they know your product, they know your values, they know your mission, they know your vision. They already have that groundwork set for them. So I think that, if it's already a cultural fit that's there, it just makes sense to continue looking at those existing employees, your internal candidates. Absolutely.
And in a job market where it's particularly important to make sure you express value when you're looking at the skill set of your current employees and looking at what you can do to build their skills so they can move to the next level, then you also express value for those employees. And that's super important in the environment we're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if a company is unsure of the skills of people on their team, what can an employer do to see if an employee has the skills that they're looking for? Are there some suggestions you guys have?
So I think that there's several things to be looking at when you're wanting to, when you're looking at promoting from within. I think, depending on what the position is, obviously it might be a leadership position. There's going to be more responsibility. Look at their leadership skills. Look at their interactions with other employees and kind of see, especially when there's projects, are they taking that leadership role? Are they making a little bit more of an effort than others? Look at their communication. That's a big thing. How are they communicating with their fellow employees? And what does that look like? What does their teamwork look like? Are they, are other employees sort of recognizing them, for their teamwork and, for what they're putting forward? What are their problem solving abilities? When push comes to shove and maybe, they're under the radar for something, what does that problem solving look like? What does their organization look like? How organized are they when it comes to, their work and what they do, and also their decision-making abilities? Are they somebody who it's an emotional kind of knee-jerk reaction, or are they somebody that kind of sits back, likes to look at all of the options, likes to kind of see what's out there before they make a decision? So I think that looking for if you don't really have a system in place like that succession planning, or even if you don't really have maybe that mentorship planning in place, just sort of looking at those qualifications, I think is a great place to start.
Definitely. I agree. It's a great place to start. And then don't be afraid to ask the employee what they want to do. Some people may have all the skill sets you're looking for, but they may not be interested in a leadership position. So you can't negate that. Go ahead and ask them what they're interested in doing, and then see how that fits into your organizational planning.
And I also think that not just the ones that, like you said, Ellen, looking at those that have those capabilities, but what about spending more time in developing those competencies that you're needing to fill within the roles that are going to be, opening soon, or realize that there is going to be maybe retirement or someone in the organization. And now I need to start building that sort of accelerated pool of employees that's ready to move in that role. So how do you do that? Well, part of it is looking and pulling back, what is our training program? What is our development and training program? Like, what skill sets do we need to be offering to get these people ready so that they're in the pipeline and that we feel like, they can sort of move in, ready to move in to that role. Also on the job training. Some may not have walk in the door with that skill, but you see them having the aptitude and the ability to pick up additional skills. So what job opportunities on the job are you creating to develop and prepare employees for higher level positions?
Exactly. So definitely conversation is important, talking to the employees. How do you think is a good way to get out, have employees get out of their comfort zones? Do you think making sure you provide that training, you provide that development, letting them know there's opportunities?
I think too, if there's maybe projects or something that you're working on, that they may not normally be involved with, get them involved with it, get them a little bit out of their comfort zone. Because again, they may realize that they've got some of these skills that they didn't know that they had unless they really had the opportunity to utilize them. So I think maybe trying to think of ways to get them out of their comfort zone, maybe with some projects or some plans and things like that would be a good, one good place to start.
Yeah. And you mentioned the key word, Meghan, is communication. So I don't think it's just during that review time where you're going over what they did that prior year and setting the pace for what's to come. I think it's talking with them and making an effort to talk with them about what their career goals are during those either one-on-one sessions, that's not just during the review time period, and as well making that a focused conversation during the evaluation period to say, what's the next steps, what skill sets or what other job opportunities within the company are you looking at, so that you can start targeting what that next year looks like, whether it's training, whether it's projects that's coming up, or even stretch assignments.
And they may have ideas. So if you have open dialogue, they may have ideas of next step projects for themselves or for the team. And maybe they don't see their potential to run those projects, but you can help them build the gap and build confidence at the same time by allowing them that opportunity. So two-way communication, both allowing you to express your ideas and receiving ideas from them, is super important.
And I think a part of communication is as well, we immediately look at an opportunity for a position that's open and say, okay, we need to post this position. And it immediately goes posting on job boards. Do we have an internal job posting process that encourages employees to apply for higher level positions? And if not, then that's something that maybe you have to pull back and say, why aren't we posting our jobs internally first to see who may be interested before we post, on Indeed or wherever you may post your position. So I think communicating is both ways. Like, how open are we to make people aware that we want to know who's interested internally for this opportunity?
Definitely. And that's a great, again, support of value, expressing value for the employees. When you give them the opportunity first, it shows that you really do value their skill set and you want to hear from them and give them the opportunity really to express motivation within the company to move forward with the group. So it's a great way to express value.
Because too, to piggyback on that, if you don't have a career development program or you're not providing career development, especially for some of like your younger employees that are really looking to like move up in your workforce, I mean, their engagement is just going to go down. And I mean, like, why would they want to stay somewhere if they know they're not going to have the opportunity to grow? So just making sure, and kind of figuring out how to work those programs and set that kind of thing up, because, your top performers are always going to look for ways to grow, whether it's just, moving up in the company or just gaining in the experience and knowledge that they currently have to use in their current position.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One warning, make sure you follow up with internal candidates.
Yes.
Once you select a candidate, make sure you provide clear, direct feedback to the other candidates so that they're aware of why they didn't get the position. That bridging that communication gap is really important to keeping that momentum that you've given them by allowing them to participate in the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Communication is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, thank you everyone for joining us for another roundtable discussion. We appreciate your time and we'll see you again soon.